What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So Cyberpunk 2077 got its patch 2.3, the game that wasn't supposed to get any more updates, and it actually brings a lot to the game, a lot of quality of life features, jobs, auto drive, FSR 4, frame gen 3.1, and all of that. But more importantly for this video and for the Claw and Intel, it brings Intel's XeSS 2 upscaling and frame generation, which you need to have Intel hardware for to run, which in comes the Claw. As far as the TDP goes, I'm going to just leave it at 30 watts, which used to be our maximum before they added these sliders. You can get decent performance, especially at 800p if you go down to 17, 20 watts, anything like that. But I just wanted to stick with the 30 here for this testing and taking a look. Now 1200p up against 800p here, same settings, XeSS performance, frame gen on, all of that. It's not necessarily the recommended settings, but just what I chose here to show side by side, and you can see the difference in the two. Now I like 1200p on the screen, and I think XeSS handles it really well, and I'd probably just go ahead and play it that way, but there's going to be areas of the game where it is harder to get the performance out of it. And when you're talking about frame generation, the higher your base FPS is, the smoother it's going to be and the less input latency you're going to have, and just things like that in general. Typically you want to have 60 FPS or higher, but 40 or up oftentimes works just fine, like here, which is what you're seeing. But yeah, 800p or lower settings will certainly give you much better performance, but for the most part I wound up just sticking with a lot of 1200p in this video and checking out some of this XeSS 2. Now if we jump in here to 1200p with ultra quality on, just sitting still in this one spot, we'll take a quick look at all these, and we're at 45 FPS. We'll go ahead and switch this over to quality. We'll gain about 2 or 3 FPS, and this is pretty normal from what you would see with FSR or XeSS or anything. Each time we jump up in our quality of upscale here or down, however you want to count it, we're going to gain a few FPS. On bounce, we're going to go to about 51 to 52 here, sitting still, might hover depending on what's going on. We switch over to performance and we can get up to about 56, sometimes 57 in this spot. And then ultra performance, which of course is going to impact image quality the most, but XeSS does handle it decently for the 1200p upscale at 61 FPS. I pretty much opted at 1200p for performance. I think it worked out fine here and with frame gen on. At 800p, quality or bounce would work out just fine unless you really wanted to push more FPS over image quality. But on the 8-inch screen in person, you can actually get away with a lot here. But I want to take a quick look at some side-by-side of frame gen off and then frame gen on here for all the same settings, so you can just kind of see the difference in that in a couple of areas as well, because a lot of people are still going to opt to not want to use frame generation, which is fine. It does add some input latency even with XeSS and low latency turned on, but ultimately I think it does work out really well in this game, and Intel has made a lot of improvements and stuff. This all feels much better than what it used to, and XeSS 2 has brought a lot of great things with the upscaling and with the frame generation. I'd love to see more handhelds opt an Intel and AMD option going forward so that people could really try it out. Intel has gotten a rougher reputation over the past few years, of course, and a lot of people still don't want to jump into that when it comes to the handhelds, and I don't blame anyone, but they've made a lot of strides with the Series 2 Ultra, and it's been impressive since January. And XeSS 2 is something you do need Intel hardware to run. And as far as I know, FSR 4 is still not supported by any of the handhelds or the upcoming Z2 Extremes, but I guess we'll have to see what's going to happen with all of that and the AI it uses and all of that. But with Intel, we are able to use XeSS 2 with our hardware here. And again, it's very smooth in person. It's hard to capture it properly on YouTube and with a 60 FPS 4K capture here or recording here, but it works out really well in person on the VRR screen, 1200p, being upscaled. It feels great and looks great. Hardly any stutters or jutters as far as the actual frame generation is concerned. Definitely a little bit more input latency with frame gen, so again, some of you may opt to have it off, but even in that case, XeSS offers a much better upscaling option over FSR, especially when on Intel hardware like here. But anyways, guys, just a quick look at this running on the Claw 8 with this new update. Having XeSS 2 available is great to see here and makes the game even better on the Claw or any other Intel hardware you have that can support this. All right, guys, thanks a lot for coming to check out the video. As always, I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one.